Hey guys, I want to show you this, which I come to find out about when I was searching through the Virginia Company's records. And you can get these online at Library of Congress. It just takes a lot of looking and stuff. So as you can see, we see a very famous name here, John Rolfe. This is the same John Rolfe you're probably thinking of right now. Now I'm working on getting the originals. I've already contacted Cambridge, and it's in the Farrar paper, see if I can get the original, because that would be even cooler, right? So he goes on to talk about, this is a letter to Edwin Sandys, who was very big in the Virginia Company of London. Keep in mind, this is 1617, so this is before the first General Assembly ever took place. So we're still in the very genesis of the colonial America in Jamestown. So in this letter, John Rolfe talks, and he says, upon the 10th of April, we departed from Plymouth until the next day lost sight of the Lizard, having the treasure and over company, which kept us about 3 weeks. At what time we lost her in foggy weather, which we continued after 20 days. And you might be asking, even though this is cool, what is this really, what's the significance of this besides it being written by John Rolfe himself? Well, in this letter, he actually talks about his wife, Pocahontas Death, and he talks about her. So I'll show you. The Indians, very loving and willing to part with their children. My wife's death is much lamented. Now, he did marry more than one person. He was married before he met Pocahontas. Pocahontas is his second wife. And then he married, he was son-in-law to William Pierce when he got over to, when he came as his third wife. So, and he says, my child is much desired when it is of better strength to endure so hard a passage, whose life is greatly extinguished, the sorrow of her loss. So he's referring to Pocahontas, even though he doesn't say her name, saying, all must die, but 'tis not enough that her child lieth. I know not how I may be censured for leaving my child behind me, nor what hazard I may incur. And then this is how we know for sure it's Pocahontas. He says, at my departure from Gravesend. So Gravesend is where Pocahontas died. That would be where she actually did die. So now we know exactly who he's referring to. We tend to think of Pocahontas as not a real person. We just think, oh, it's folklore. No, she was very, very real. He was very, very real. But if you don't have the records to prove it, it's much harder to prove it. Don't go by the stupid Disney Channel movie, because that's not accurate at all. And then he goes on to talk to her again. Now my last request at this time is to yourself, whom I have found a father to me, my wife and child. He goes on to continue, your noble favor and furtherance, even my child's sake, being the living ashes of his deceased mother. So he's talking about Thomas Rolfe, their only child, and then he's talking about Pocahontas for his mother. But may not die with my wife, but continue for her child's advancement, which better enable myself and him thereafter to take and execute what may be required of us. So he's basically talking about sorrowness, and let's continue, even though she's gone, let's continue. Maybe he can get the best education he possibly can. Things that a father would want, basically, right, to try to move on. But he's definitely, obviously, very depressed about what's going on. And then he signs at the very bottom of it, John Rolfe, and then Jamestown, this 8th of June, 1617, the year that she died, Pocahontas. So I just thought that would be interesting to show you guys.